Olds 455 Serpentine belt system. This is Hutch from Hutch High Perf. Let's go do this. If you remember, these are off an S10, and you can take just about everything off with a 13 and a 15 socket. Except for the compressor, for some reason. Those are 14 millimeter bolts. I don't know. Maybe it's just because of the location. Maybe it's, why not 13? I don't know. Like the Critical Drinker says, why? Don't know. Okay, so hopefully this doesn't drown out the mic. If it does, I'll take care of it in post, but let's start breaking everything off of here. $15. Come on. Oh, missed one. Back bracket. That ought to do it. All right, alternator, bolts associated with alternator. That could stay on there. These are 15. On with that. Power steering. One bracket ready to go. One more left here. Let's see. All these 13. No, they're all 15. Get that together with that. Because there's also spacer that goes on the back. Make sure you keep this stuff together so everything lines up right when you put it back onto the new stuff. All right, idler. Okay, here's the oddball. 14. It doesn't. Got a nut on the back. Yes, it does. Oh, maybe that's why. Oh, that's tight. How? Okay. Let's keep that nut to the side here so I can figure out how to get it back. So I figure out how to get the bolt out. It's the same thing? Yeah. Another nut. Yeah, that one's good. Is that the same thing? Yeah. What is that? All right. This is going to be fun because doesn't look like I can clear any of those bolts past the compressor head, but that's not right. There's the 3 nuts for that. It's got to come off, right? Right, there's got to be the shoulder of the bolt sticks underneath the clutch. How about this one? I don't want to let go. All right, if I throw the nut just on the back. Let's see. Might just be just enough that it doesn't want to let go. There it is. I don't want to hit it too hard. I don't want to distort the bolt just enough to, or distort the nut. What am I saying? Where'd that one go? There's a nut trapped in there somewhere. I'll have to find that. They're not making this easy. Let's get this off. Is this, I think that's actually a 13. It's already loose from taking it off the car when it was out in the yard. So my 2 brackets, I'm assuming those bolt to the manifold somewhere. How does that come off? But how it just is there a spot on this that there's no way? That is like way out. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Bolt head. Let's see if you can see that. I didn't notice this. Look at the flat spot. It is made with a flat spot in it to clear. It's made with a flat spot to be able to clear the clutch. And it's not ground that way, it's made that way. Okay. So now I know what I'm doing. Where's the flat spot? There it is. Come on. Now that I got you, I know what I'm doing. Man, it is still. Is there a flat spot in the clutch, or is this clutch bad? Because it seemed like when I was rotating it, I hit a spot where it just popped out. No, it doesn't look like it. So why? Why so difficult? Okay, so when the part you're working on tells you in uncertain terms it does not want to come out, sometimes you have to be persuasive. That's getting it. I don't care about you, buddy. Good toast. All right. One more. That's on the flat spot. Let's see. Doesn't want to stop wobbling. There we go. Wow. Okay, well that is going to be very interesting going back in, because I want everything to look pretty. And man, this it's in there too. Is that everything? Yeah, nothing else is holding it. All right, let me get these two nuts on here before I lose them. All right, more persuasion. You will come out. I insist. There it is. Ah, compressor. What else we got? I want to make sure everything is off because I got to blast these. I don't want to. There's a pad made onto that. All right. Now it's sandblasting time. Well, there they are. If I ever get to the point where I can build my own shop just dedicated to working on this stuff, first thing I'd build is a blast cabinet. With all these nooks and crannies in sugar cookie. it was bad. So I went in, cleaned up, then something else came up, and it's like almost a week later now. But they're as clean as they're going to get right now. I'm probably going to have to blast them again to get them really clean for paint. Either that, or I gotta blast it with something that I guess makes it look better. Maybe I'll keep it raw and just like use diamond clear. I don't know. I'm probably going to use the same cast coat aluminum that I use on the water pump when I put it on. You'll see that. So I probably will paint them that. Either that or I'm going to do like black like you would like regular brackets. So we'll see. That's still up in the air. I got to decide. So let me wheel the engine around and then we'll get the fabricated brackets on that these things bolt to. I guess that's next. So let's get our first bracket on. So you have these two countersunk holes and then these stainless countersunk bolts. And this bolts onto the head, this top and bottom spot here. Yeah, right there. Obviously, for me, this is a test fit. I want to get the brackets bolted on, get all the pieces in place, just to make sure that my alignment and everything is good. Now, here is something, because this isn't the first time this went on. So these two bolts are tight. I think when the bracket was made, the countersunk holes in the bracket, they went too big or too deep, because either that or just for some reason it does not work with the Edelbrock head. Like maybe a factory head it might, but the other side is the same way. That's no good because the brackets bolt here. I mean, the one head bolt up here technically would hold that in place, but that's sloppy. I can't have that. And the other side is even worse because these two holes, I believe it's these two, hold the bracket in place. No, it's these two. So the bracket goes here, and then you've got the one bolt hole down here. So it's the same thing, but it's not enough, and both sides are loose. That is unfortunate and a bit angering. It's like $150 for this. I mean, the pieces are cut out very nice. Everything is well made. Everything lines up. If it weren't for that, it would be a bolt-on. But, well, I've got to run out to the hardware store because I've got to buy all the bolts that will, because they're all 3/8/16. So I'm going to buy the bolts that bolt in here and over on the other side that bolt the two brackets to it. So I got to go out to the hardware store anyway. So instead of sitting here crying about it, I'm going to try to find something to do to fix it. So look at that. That's terrible. I'm hoping, probably not going to find it at the hardware store. They just don't carry that kind of stuff. But I know that for countersunk holes, I swear I remember seeing like a washer, like a coned washer that you could buy, that would basically be the gap in between the bolt and the countersink to take up that room, almost like a repair, like maybe you went too deep or you wallowed it out, and that spacer would fix that. Look at that. That is just, it just went too deep. I mean, or he countersunk it with the wrong size. That might be what that is, because the top one doesn't move as much as the bottom. I don't know. That's just sloppy. All right, enough crying. Let me go see if there's something I can find. All right, I'm going to see if I can give this a try. This is a bolt retainer. You may have fought one of these when you got your factory rotor off. These things slide over the stud and basically hold in place. There's a couple under the dash. You always end up having to use a pair of like needle nose or something, or a pair of side cutters, and try to get these little boogers off. Well, they're really thin metal too. Here's my idea. I don't know if this is going to work. So this just fits on our concave bolt, right? So I think if I use a block of wood with a hole to make up this space so it goes flat against this, I can put this in my bench vise and squeeze this and basically turn the washer concave. That should take up the space and act like its own spacer and hopefully fix my issue. It'll be just because there's not a lot of room I need to fight with, just a little bit. So I'm hoping that this works. So I'm going to go squeeze one of these out, well, probably two, and then we'll bolt it on, see what happens. Maybe. I was able to crush them, then they're thin enough, they just collapsed right down into it. So let's put it back on and see if it makes a difference. Oh, well, if this one goes down in there like that one did. Let's see if I can move this one a little bit. So it goes right down in there. Because I believe these also have to be flush to make room for the bracket that bolts on top of it. That is it. Put some Loctite on that, and it is maybe just a hair off of flush. You can just get your fingernail on it. That might be good enough. I guess I got two more to do. All right. Same thing. Didn't take a lot either. Basically just used a block of wood with a big hole in it, so the bolt on the backside had somewhere to go, and didn't take a whole lot of pressure because they're pretty thin metal. And I didn't have to make up a ton of room, just a little tiny bit. And I think these retainers are going to do the job just fine. So all I need is for these things, and these are going to go in with Loctite. So once they're in, they're not going to move. Yeah, okay. I love it when a plan comes together. So then the last piece is this little guy. This goes on the back side here, and it bolts to where your engine mount bolts in. So I'll probably have to buy a little bit longer bolt to make up for that distance. But yeah, these brackets I bought from a dude that was selling them on Real Olds Power. So if you go online, there is a company that sells these now. Sells the whole kit, sells everything, the spacer for the pulley, all that stuff, everything. This may not be a problem that you're going to have. This was a guy that was making them on his own, and I think the other guy and him got into some kind of disagreement. I don't know what. I don't care. I don't bother myself with that stuff. But anyway, so the guy that made these, I don't think is making them anymore. And then the other guy he was working with now has an online presence and is selling a whole kit. So when you get it, if you get it, you may not have this problem, all right? I think this was just a matter of either the wrong size countersink when he drilled them out, or he just went too deep. I don't know which. But it was just like, I ran out of thread and it just wasn't grabbing, like the hole was just a little bit too big. So that spacer fixed my problem and I'm happy. I think let's put the brackets on, see what they look like. One thing that must be done is drilling out the holes on the back of the bracket where it meets the new fabricated brackets. So in order to get more thread engagement, there are actual lugs that are installed into the brackets and they extend out. And in order for you to be able to get the factory brackets on, you've got to drill out the area in the back. It's a 9/16 drill. Not much, it's just that amount right there. That's how much the threaded portion sticks out flush from the bracket. So we're just drilling down. This would probably be better if I did it on my drill press, but I'm being lazy, and not everybody has a drill press, and you honestly don't need it as long as you're careful. And we'll just take our time and drill this down to the depth, and then we'll test fit it. I think that might be good for that one. Just one on this side, which is the passenger side with the AC. All right, so I got them drilled out. I did a couple of test fits and just had to go a little bit deeper, which is fine. So now, let's see, these things should fit right on here at this point. Very good. All right, let's drive the bolts in. So one over here, this little guy is 3/4 inch long. There's that. Well, you know what? I should, till everything is in, I should leave these guys a little loose. One over on this side is 1 inch long. These are all 9/16, by the way. 9/16 head bolts, and they're all 3/8/16. One down here in the well is 1.5 inches long. All right, and then also going to use 1.5 inches down here for our bracket that bolts in here. Where are you at? There you are. Like I said, the best thing to do is get all this loosely fitted before you try to tighten anything down. And then you have where is it at? Just use one of the, back here where the engine mount is, I'm just using one of the engine mount bolts. It needs to be longer, like, I don't know, I think this thing is like an inch, probably like an inch and a half, to figure that out. Okay, so with all that down, I should be able to start cinching this all the way up. Everything seems to be going in. All right. Everything on that side anyway seems like it's going together quite nice. All right, let's go over and do the other side. All right, other side, same thing, but just one spot you had to drill out. All right, put this right up. Oh, fits perfect. All right, on this side, that's a good place to sit my tools. On this side, it is two 2-inch bolts. Again, these are all 3/8/16. Let's get this started. All right, got them down here. Get that sort of snugged up into place. Then we'll get our other 2-inch in. This is a little deeper down in there. There we go, right there. Line that bad boy up. Back over here, I think we can snug this one down. That's good. Back to the other one. There it is. That is both sides on. Cool. Now is a good time to subscribe. Did I just say that? Down there, the little red button, subscribe. You know you want to hit that button. I won't tell anybody, I promise. Okay, so you've got the cradle where the compressor goes, you got your idler, and the tensioner, and then you have your idler pulley that goes in here. Down here, I think on the S10s, they had an emissions pump. Here's an interesting thing. This is an old trick that I've heard people do, and I've heard them always use. It's a Ford. It's the Ford Lightning. Now the Ford Lightning, not the small body like the newer ones that came out. Newer ones? It's still like a decade ago probably. The ones that were the big. Yeah, the big boxy truck. Those old Ford Lightnings, which have been like what, late 80s, early 90s, I think. They had a vacuum pump on there, and for whatever reason, not a vacuum pump, it was an air pump. For whatever reason, somebody figured out, because it's an air pump, so one side pushes air. Well, in order to push air, you've got to suck air from somewhere else. So there was a fitting on the back that was just open to air, and that was your intake. This thing would be spinning, and it would pump air into the pipes that controlled your emissions and helped clean that up. So someone figured out that if you just swapped those two and then put the hose on the suction side, that you could make a poor man's vacuum pump. So in situations where you're running a big cam and it's a low vacuum thing, you could actually put a Ford Lightning air pump on here. For whatever reason they used the Lightning, I don't know if it was just that it was better or it held up longer, because you're gonna start to suck like a little bit of oil fume, and at some point it's going to contaminate it. Maybe it just held up better, that I don't know. But literally you could run the suction side of the air pump up to a valve cover And you could essentially, or to a catch can and then to the valve cover if you wanted to eliminate some of the oil getting into the pump. And you could run it like almost like a race car when it has a vacuum pump on it. You could run a vacuum pump, give a little bit more vacuum to the engine to make up for the lack of vacuum with the cam. So that's kind of a cool backyard, like figure stuff out, shade tree kind of thing. I like that. I love stuff like that. It's always cool. So anyway, so here it's on. Now, since I'm probably not going to do that, literally you could cut this thing off like right here and just have this top part. It would be a lot cleaner, and that's what I may end up doing. And usually what happens is the back side of the idler here, they run a bracket. Those two brackets, when I took them off, one of those brackets would run down to the intake manifold. And possibly another one on this side that will run over here, I don't know. But basically stabilize this because you've got this heavy compressor and everything running off of this, and you've just got the two bolts over here holding it on. You could lop it off here, leave this on, and run a bracket, just like on the other side, run a bracket from here over, make it like a little support bracket, and run it over to the one bolt for your for the engine mount on the one side, and help stabilize the bottom. So I got to figure out what I want to do with that. So that'll be the decision. Do I just take this thing and lop it right off and then smooth it out? Maybe do it right here so it kind of looks like a natural break. Cut it right there and then cut it across, and then let's like smooth this out so it looks a little like it's made that way maybe. Anyway, so I got to figure out what to do with that. All right, well I think we're going to end here, and we'll call this part 1. And then we'll come back on the next one, and I'll put all the accessories on, and we'll get a nice glamour shot of what the Serpentine system looks like. So that'll be kind of cool. So you know what? You know what to do. Do all the things. There's subscribe, there's like, there's super thanks, there's t-shirt shop. You know what to do. Anyway, that's all I got. So this is Hutch from Hutch High Perf. Take it easy, guys.